Guys, whoops. Hey, I'm back. We back? Yeah, we're back. If you guys haven't done it, refresh if you need to. Yay, we're back. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, stream crash. I did, that is rare. That has never happened to me before. That's a first, guys. That's never happened to me before. That's never happened to me before. Yeah, we're back live, boys. We're back. Don't panic. That was weird. That never happened to me before. So it's good to be back. I'm so sorry, guys, this all had to happen. Super sorry. Let's hope this is the last of it for now. Correction. We're gonna fly over next is Chateau Theory. Now, obviously, this was the site of the Battle of Chateau Theory in World War I. This place here was this was actually based on the town of a site called Otmus. It was home to the Castle Chateau Theory 946. In this place was also the birthplace of Jean de La Fontaine, known for all of his fables and stuff. One of the most widely read French poets of the 19th century. Hey, good to see you, Uncle Beesim. Good to see you. We don't blame you. Yeah, that's weird. That never happened. Yeah, Uncle Beesim, you missed it, but the OBS had a crash. So thankfully, I got it right back in the air soon after. But at least I got a rebound, so at least that's good. I hope you're doing well. The flying was today is Red Dragon, Chronogo, EYP. I believe USAPR is around here too. Oh, yikes. Yeah, that is a yikes. I don't blame you. I'm good, thanks. Yeah. I'm just lucky. I'm just happy that it wasn't too serious. I'm glad it wasn't the internet went out. But yeah, Uncle Beesim, we're doing leg one of the Orient Express. We're going from Paris to Strasbourg today. We're doing some good old IFR flying. I follow the railroads. And look at that. Now we see the railroad. We're following the Paris-Strasbourg railway line that first came in the 1850s. That's what we're doing for today. Yeah, I like flying this thing. It looks really awesome. So I have some some NSFS news. If you guys don't mind me sharing. So So Flight Sim Studio is coming out with their C-Ray amphibian plane for MSFS. It's going to come in the future, which is another flying boat. It's like a smaller flying boat, similar to the Icon 85. And look, there's the railway track down below. Again, connected this to the railroads. We're following the railroad down the River Marne. And it's going to come out on Xbox. Then Fly Tampa did a brand new release. Fly Tampa is coming came out with their Corfu Island Airport. That means they come out with Corfu, which, if you guys don't know, Corfu is an island off the west coast of Greece. And they come out with not only the high detail airport of Ionis Kapodistrias International, they're also coming out with the fully modeled island, featuring terminals, aprons, and all that around the island. I mean, another high quality product from Flight Tampa. Then Pirate Dev Company, they're coming out with another new airport. This time they're doing Belfast in Northern Ireland, part of the UK in Northern Ireland. And then finally, Samsung 3D, they're doing their rendition of Beijing. Over 2,000 custom buildings to Beijing for 18 bucks. This is not a bad price. But it features over 2,000 apartments, houses, and buildings. Many landmarks have been reworked, shopping malls, stations, and stuff, and of course the Great Wall as well. And it's compatible with the with Daxing Airport, with their Chinese Beijing Capital Airport. So that should be really cool to do Beijing. Porter is gonna love the Sea Ray. Oh, I think he would like it too. I know Porter, he would love it. I know Merck's gonna discuss it in his news today, but I wanted to go over some of it myself for guys that don't know. Just something to talk about. The F-22A Raptor from Top Box Studios just came out the other day. Now I know a lot of people saying they had some FPS issues, so let's hope they get fixed. And then finally, yesterday was more pictures of the Airbus A380 from Fly-by-Wire. And again, like I said, during the Japan adventure, the A380 is the largest airliner ever produced. It's a massive plane. And Air France actually has those in their inventory, by the way. So absolutely monstrous planes. For about 209 nautical miles left to go. Yeah, I really do like flying this Cap 10. It's a lot of fun. If I need to, I can always go with loops. I can always... Anyone lose nameplates now? I still have nameplates. I guess you must have lost yours, unfortunately. But they'll pop back soon. One of the handful of planes that surpassed 1 million pounds. Yep. Yeah, there's only a handful of planes over 1 million pounds max capacity. It's one of the only few that's over 1 million. The other ones way over 1 million pounds include the Strato Launch, which is the current heaviest and widest plane, and then the largest one ever built, the Antonov AN-225 Mira. Unfortunately, that was destroyed in 2022 during the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And then there's one last plane that reached over 1 million pounds. And that was actually a plane called the Caspian Sea Monster. This thing was a weird plane. It was an experimental ground effect vehicle, which literally takes advantage of the whole ground effect stuff. It was actually developed by Vladislav Alexandriev. It was built in the 1960s, and the reason they saw a ground effect was because it was supposed to glide over the surface to take advantage of the ground effect. Basically, it's called a screen glider, and one of the advantages of that is fuel efficiency. so let's go for the next part of the slideshow, shall we? So this is the Marne River. This is what we have been flying through today. This is where we'll be flying through much of the journey over the Marne. This river is an eastern tributary of the Seine River. It's about 319 miles long, or 514 kilometers. It gave its name to the departments of Haute-Marne, Marne, Saint-Marne, and Val-de-Marne. It starts from the Langres Plateau and bends north and bends west. The east. The Celts of Gaul actually worshipped the gods known as Dea Matrona, associated with the river, and it's famous for being two battle sites of the First World War. The first was the First Battle of the Marne, which was a turning point of the conflict in 1914, and the second one was fought in 1980, the Second Battle of the Marne, which was the last major German offensive during the First World War in 1918. It was navigable as a free-flowing river until the 19th century. It had one gated shortcut, which was built in 1235, which is the oldest canal in France. So during the heyday of canal transportation, it was a major artery connecting between Paris and the Seine River to the east. That is the Marne. Here. So I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry about everything earlier. So let's see who's flying with us. We actually had UIP, Portico, Red Dragon, US APR in the Mighty Twin Otter. Yeah, this is beautiful. I love the rolling hills here in France. Just stunning. River. So according to my nav map, we're about 196 nautical miles to our final stop. So every single plane we're going to pick here on our journey is going to be different. So we will have different planes for each step of the journey. So the next place we're going to be flying towards is the commune of Epernay. So Epernay itself, a bit of a brief history. It used to be belonging to the archbishops of Reims from the 5th to 10th century, when it became part of the courts of Champagne. It was badly damaged during the 100 Years' War, and it was burned by Francis I, the King of France, in 1544. Now, one of the main sites around the town is its oldest quarter. The streets are narrow and irregular, and one of the main churches retains a portal and stained glass windows from the 16th century, but most of the others are in modern construction. The most famous street is the Avenue de Champagne, and it features some of the leading champagne manufacturers, which is its own kind of alcohol. And basically, it's well known for being the primary entrepot of Champagne wines, because it's the main transshipment port. Yeah, this area here is famous for all the champagne bottles produced here in France. Unfortunately, nameplates haven't been back. Try switching servers. May have to try and quit load back in. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I mean, I'm not having the problem, but if you're having problems, I actually feel for you still. It's still an issue, though. I still can't believe it took him this long to fix. But all this area is from the Champagne region. So basically, guys who don't know, Champagne region is a type of sparkling wine that's produced here under the rules of appellation. And they demand a lot of strict vineyard practices, like grapes that are sourced directly from this area, along with grape pressing methods and fermentation to cause a lot of the carbonation in the wine. So almost all champagnes either produced by grapes of the Pinot Pure, Pinot Minor, and Chardonnay grapes. They produce almost all the champagne as well. Champagne itself became associated with royalty in the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. And thanks to their association with that, through the emerging middle class, it recently gained a lot of popularity itself. So all this area is this area right here. It's all good. I'm still enjoying myself. Yeah, I'm doing this fight too. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, this whole area is Champagne capital for all the champagne drinkers. Yeah, just typical number 18. So now we're approaching one of the first major communes. One of the major communes we're visiting soon is going to be Châlons-en-Champagne. It's actually one of the cities here in this region. It's the capital of the department of Marne. Despite only being a quarter of the size of the city of Reims, which is one of France's most populous city, it's formerly known as Chalon-sur-Marne. It was officially renamed in 1998. Its history is quite big. For one, it's conjectured to be several sites of several major battles, including the battles of Chalons in 274 between the Roman Emperor Aurelian and Tetricus I of the Gallic Empire. They were also the site of the Battle of Chalons in 451, which turned back the westward advance of Attila the Hun. It is also the last setting of the last operetta of Johann Strauss II, the Göttin der Vernunft, the Goddess of Reason. It's also mentioned in It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown as Snoopy's crash site. There are several major sites here you can see, including St. Etienne's Cathedral, which was built in the 12th century. It's still there. It was rebuilt in the Gothic style in the 17th century. There is also Notre Dame in Vaux, which was built between 1157 and 1217. It is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Then the oldest church in the city, which is St. Alpin, rebuilt around 1170. So there's a lot of famous sites around here. And of course, this is also home to Camp de Moramelen, which is around during the 1850s. It was quickly used to practice military maneuvers, but it quickly turned into a showcase of the French Imperial Army. And some of the people that were born here include Joseph Francois Maugin, the designer of St. Patrick's Old Cathedral in New York. And the father of the helicopter was actually born here, Antien Oemission, an engineer himself, the father of the modern helicopter. There it is, Chalons on Champagne. This is one of the two major railway stops of the major stations here in the region. Just want to do a little stunt or two with this thing. There's many of the cathedrals and stuff. Bless you. Bless you all. Sorry about that. Planes. Oh, the point. I didn't say that either. Dave. It's not an Aerolite 103. It's a Robin Cat 10. Yeah, it's a pretty big sim issue, unfortunately. It's still an issue even as of now. So, I'm gonna switch one to. I was looking for the suggested plane command. Oh, you were looking for that? Here we go. You can pick any plane that could do 125 to 140. Like the SR-22 would be good. The Bonanza's pretty good. You'd be a little fast, but you can definitely keep up. The DA-40 would be a really good choice. But now we're going to get into the more foresty part of France to the east, which is going to be much more forested. We're going to be heading towards the Alsace-Lorraine region of France. Thank you for your patience with me. No worries. I'm more than willing to be patient, and I completely understand. Like, no worries. Let's check fuel. 21%. I might have to switch tanks. The DA-40 has slightly higher cruise speed. Yeah, it can cruise up to 135, which should be more than enough for this trip. Yeah, DA-40 NG. Absolutely, you can definitely take that plane. So there's the Marne River continuing down below. So the place we're going to visit next is going to be Vitry-le-Franchot, as what it's called. But this place is pretty interesting. It's a commune here, just like in the department of Marne. It has rail connections to Paris, Reims, Strasbourg, Metz, and more. This place was actually founded when Louis VII, known as the Younger, invaded the region of Champagne and seized the city, Vitry-le-Franchot. Over 1,000 residents were killed when the town's church was set ablaze. The present town has actually been a recent construction, having been built in 1545 at the behest of King Francis. And that was because it was wanted to replace the Vitry-en-Prairieuse that was destroyed by the King's Italian War of 1542. During World War I, Joseph Joffre established the Grand Quartier General, the general's headquarters here at Vitry-le-Franchot as well. Some of the features include a 17th century building with 18th century monuments in its church, and a bronze statue of Pierre Paul Royal Colonard, a native of the district, are located here. Yep, the DA-40 should have more than that speed, absolutely. Like, I can go up to like 140 with that, no problem. And it has autopilot, which will make it nice and easy to catch up to it. Should have nice and easy enough to catch up. I see it ahead of me. But nice and peaceful to go around the France. Okay, 160 nautical miles from our destination. We're not too far. Okay, I think it's time we switch fuel tanks. Okay. fuel tanks have been switched. So we're now going to go through. I don't see you guys, but all good. I'm in the general facility. Yeah, no worries. Oh. Let's see, we have our good friend Red Dragon's up here. We have Red Dragon. Red Dragon's here with us. I think Red Dragon's the only one I see, unfortunately, I guess. Here it is. Vichy left Francois. Down below us. And I see the railroad down below us. There's the railroad. We're going to go ahead and go back to the path of the railroad. Yeah, another beautiful little French city. So now I'm finally able to, now let's talk about something that I think we're all here for. Let's learn about something else. Let's talk about the Orient Express. Actually, I forgot to mention it, but let's go ahead and talk about the Orient Express, shall we, while we're here. So the Orient Express, what do we want to talk about? Well, the Orient Express was a major train route. So the Orient Express itself, let me go ahead and get my research. So the Orient Express was a long-distance passenger train service that was created in 1883 by the Belgian company Compagnie Internationale des Wagons-Lits, or CIWL, and it operated all the way to 2009. It traveled through the entire length of continental Europe into Western Asia, with terminal stations in Paris and London in the northwest, and Athens or Istanbul to the southeast. The route and rolling stock of the Orient Express has changed many times since it, with several routes in the past concurrently using the name or slight variations. Although the original one was usually used as an international train service, it became synonymous with intrigue and luxury rail travel. The two cities most prominently featured and served with the Orient Express are Paris and Istanbul, the original endpoint of the service, which is what we're doing. Now, after it ceased to exist in 2009 due to the victim of high-speed train and cut-rate airlines. However, since December 13, 2021, the OBB Nightjet has operated 3 times per week during the Paris-Vienna route, and then the Simpleton Orient Express train operates through much of the various destinations, including the original route from Paris to Istanbul. Now, the original train was composed of the baggage car, sleeping coach, 4 sleeping coaches, a restaurant coach, and a baggage car. And the first menu on board of the original train featured oysters, soup with Italian pasta, turbot with green sauce, which is basically flounder, chicken a la chasseur, filet of beef with chateau potatoes, chocolate game animals, lettuce, chocolate pudding, and a buffet of desserts. This was the original train in 1882, by the way. Hey, Eagle Costella, good to have you here. Hope you have a great stream. Enjoy the stream and flight, everyone. Thank you so much, Eagle. So let's go look at the route map here. these are the various different routes that were served by the Orient Express throughout its history. So we're going to go over the original route. So we're going to the red route, which is the original route we're going to today. So we're traveling from Paris to Strasbourg, Strasbourg to Munich, Munich to Vienna, Vienna to Budapest, which is the shortest, and then Budapest to Bucharest, and then we're going through from Bucharest to Istanbul in Turkey. But if you see here on the map, there's lots of variations of the Orient Express route. And that includes different variations of the route. On the green one, which is the Simplon Orient Express, instead of going through the current route we visited, it visited other places, including Lucerne in Switzerland, Milan, Venice, Belgrade, Serbia, and Sofia, Bulgaria. And then the blue one goes from Paris to Zurich, Innsbruck, Vienna, Budapest, Belgrade, into Athens. Then there's the Venice one that's currently operated here. Paris, Lucerne, Milan, and Venice. And finally, the OBN goes from Paris, Strasbourg, Munich, and Vienna. As well. So, and then finally, the red one, there's it used to have a ferry in the Black Sea, take a ferry from Varna until 1889 when they built the railroad down here. So that is East Street of East USA with multiplayer enabled and labels on. I think he had that earlier, Super Typhon. Never really worked for him. Now the original train used for it was in 1883. I forgot to have a picture for it. Here it is, the original train for the port. This is the original train. This original train was the first one that left from Paris to Vienna and remained the terminus until October 4th, 1883. It was then renamed Orient Express in 1891. So the original route went from Paris to a place known as Giurgiu in Romania via Munich and Vienna. After they went there, they were ferried across the Danube to Rus, Bulgaria to pick up another train from Varna, and then they completed the journey by ferry into Constantinople, which is aka Istanbul. Hey! 33 Official Draco with the follow. Good to see you, 33 Official Draco. So Draco, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for coming by today's stream. Now, if you guys want to if you guys like what you've seen here, I do have an official Discord. This is my Discord of choice. And then in 1889, the train's eastern terminus became Varna, where passengers could take a ship to Constantinople. And then they took a direct train through Constantinople in 1889 and remained there until 1977. However, World War I made the Orient Express the services suspended due to World War I. After the end of hostilities, they opened the Simplon Tunnel, which introduced a more southern route via Milan, Venice, and Trieste, and it became known as the Simplon Orient Express, in addition to running the continuous old route. And soon the Simplon route became the most important route from Paris to Istanbul. However, the most popular times for the Orient Express were actually during the 1930s, believe it or not. With 3 parallel services running, the Orient Express, the Simplon Orient Express, and then the Arlberg, which run through Zurich and Innsbruck to Budapest. During this time, the Orient Express acquired its reputation for comfort and luxury, carrying sleeping cars and permanent service restaurants known for their quality cuisine. Business people, diplomats, bourgeoisies, royalty, and more patronized in it. However, the Second World War interrupted service during that time. After the war, normal services resumed except for the Athens leg due to the closure between Yugoslavia and Greece. As the Iron Curtain fell across Europe, the service continued to run, but communist nations increasingly replaced the cars with their own services. And then in the 70s, the direct Orient Express was withdrawal once Istanbul left completely. And then once the LGV was opened, the Orient Express was cut back even further during this time. And then the route came back in 2021. Calling from Brown County, Florida. Oh, nice. From Miami. You're from around the Miami area. Great to meet you. I'm from Indiana. I'm from the Kentucky region of southern Indiana, right next to Louisville. Good to meet you. Yeah, good to meet you here, Draco. So yeah, we're doing part 1 of the Orient Express trip for Firefly Air for the VA. We're completing an achievement. So that's what we're doing here today. So we're going to be going over next to a commune known as Bar de Luc. That's going to be where we're visiting next. So Bar de Luc, it's formerly known as the town known as Bar. It is a commune here at the Meuse department, which is the capital. It is well known for their Bar Le Duc jelly, which is known as Laurier jelly. And it's basically a spreadable preparation of white currant or red currant fruit preserves, which is around, or gooseberry. It's known as Bar Caviar. It's also been the home of the Duchy of Bar, and it was acquired to be the Duchy of Lorraine as well. But more importantly, this town was the assembly point for supplies going to the besieged city of Verdun during the famous Battle of Verdun in 1916. Thousands of trucks carrying men, equipment, and food traveled north, which led to the Allied victories of it in Riverdog. Good to see you. Do a flip. Okay, here's a flip. Flip. And we're going to do it. Here's a flip. And here's a flip. Sorry to bail out. Catch you next time. No worries, Red Dragon. And thank you so much, Red Dragon, for flying. Do a flip. That's history too. Yep. No problem, River Dog. River the Dog, 69, thank you for the follow. Whoa, spin. Yeah, you see, this point here, River Dog, is a Cap 10, and this thing is an Aerobax trainer, so it can do flips, by the way. Usually most planes I don't want to do flip, but this is a Cap 10. This is made for these kind of flips. So, I'm not worried. So we're doing part 1 of the Orient Express route. So we're going from Paris to Strasbourg today. We're doing some IFR flying. I meant IFR railroads. Someone did a flip in a 7.4. I mean, 7.4, that's weighing over 500,000 pounds. Is not for 800,000 pounds is not an easy plane to flip, but this thing is a Cap 10. This is really easy to flip this thing. It's an Aerobax plane. But we're following the Paris-Strasbourg railway line across to eastern France, This is part 1 of 6 from Paris to Istanbul in Turkey. We'll be flying different GA planes around the area. But this area right here is definitely very nice in France. Basically, we're following down the river Marne. We're following the river Orient River. Hey, Makazi, good to have you here. So, good to see you, Makazi. I hope you're doing well. We're in beautiful France. We're going across to Strasbourg. We're following the railroad lines. See, this right here is the railroad. We're doing some IFR. I follow the railroads. We're doing the Orient Express. Yeah, but we're taking this bad boy Cat 10 through the... I've never been on much of railroads or nothing, though I am going to be doing part of it in September when I go to Alaska. They have the Skagway train, which goes through a lot of Skagway, Canada. Which is the White Pass and Yukon Railroad Railway. So I hope you guys are having a great week so far. I appreciate all the new follows. Thank you guys so much. I still want to thank Nomad for the amazing raid as well. So many awesome stuff. So I'm planning on, after I do this week, I'll get stuff worked on for Sunday's city tour. Working on Phoenix's city tour for the Phoenix, Arizona. Doing our roll because I can get away with it with this plane. Whoops. Thankfully, if I need to make turns, this thing makes turns. So basically, so let's see what other stuff I can do as well. Let's see if some other news or anything. Oh yeah, Orbix is the South America match that just came out. New behavior from Obsidian saying multi-honor support. Yeah, that's going to be Sim Update 10, by the way. That's going to come out in August. So we're about to approach another little commune. This is Commercy. Commercy's dated back to which is another one of the communes here in the Munis department. The 18th century historian from Orient, Nicolas Louton Dorval, was born here. But this commune dates all the way back to the 9th century. At that time, the lords depended on the Bishop of Metz. For some time, the lordship was in the hands of Jean Francois Paul de Gondi, Cardinal de Retz, who lived in the town for a number of years, composed some of his most famous memoirs here from Commercy. Commercy also was purchased from Charles IV, Duke of Orient. It became the resident of the King of Poland at the time, Stanislaw Leszczynski. It's also home to the traditional small cake known as a Madeleine as well. In addition to that, there are some other people, including Henry Brocard, a very famous mathematician, who discovered the Brocard points in the circle. A movie director, Maurice Cloche, was born here from Commercy. In fiction, it was the key location for action of the 1964 film The Train, although the town was not used in the filming purposes. It is twinned with the German town of Hockenheim as well. A little bit of interesting fact about one of these little communes. Of course, look at that, captains. Oh my gosh, there's two of them. I wonder who the other captain is. Is that you, Chronico? And the other captain? Oh, that is too cool. Let me get a pic. Yeah, these pics go to my Discord, by the way. And I highly recommend you guys check out my Discord. So definitely check out my Discord. But man, look at that. You guys are in formation. Or is that Makazi with me? Yeah, this is beautiful. This area of France definitely is a beautiful area. So yeah, here's the commune of Commercy. Yeah, I like this captain. The visibility here is quite good. What I like about it. about 61% fuel from our rear tank, so this is not looking bad at all. 111 nautical miles to our destination, so we're not very far. We're still perfectly in range to reach our destination. Yeah, this is just great. Though I suspect the next couple legs in Germany and Austria, oh, those are going to look absolutely beautiful. When we get to Austria and all that, it's going to be stunning. We're going to have a great scenery over there, and also Romania too with Transylvania. That would be really cool. We're going to have some insanely awesome. Just incredible. Look at the firemanship. Yeah, but this thing's also remarkably stable. Here we go. Now we're getting to some of the hills. Oh, why do I know I get kicked out for MSF when I'm ready to fight? Voice cutting. That's a good question. So if I'm being honest, I think it's because I think you got CTDs probably. You get kicked out of MSF when I'm ready to flight. Maybe you have CT problems? CTDs. It's probably you might have crashed desktop issues. If I were to guess, if I'm a guessing man. So we're now entering to the commune of Toll, which should be coming up next. It's a sub-prefecture of the department of Orient-et-Moselle in northeastern France. It's between the communes of Commercy and the city of Nancy. It was known as the Romans as Tollum Lacorium. It was the capital of the Gaulish tribe of Lucy. In 550, King Theobald convoked a synod at Toll, known as the Council of Toll. In 1612, King Theodebert of Austrasia was defeated by King Theodoric II of Burgundy near Toll. By the Treaty of Mercian in 870, Toll became part of East Francia, which later became the Holy Roman Empire. During the High Middle Ages, it became a free imperial city, and it was annexed to France by King Henry II in 1552. It was recognized by the Holy Empire in the Peace of Westphalia in 1648. During the Siege of 1870, during the Franco-Prussian War, Toll's defenses, 64 guns fired 6 a.m. the 23rd of September, and the fortress surrendered at 3 p.m., when it now became part of the German Empire. In addition, it was also the primary base of the air service of the U.S. Army during World War I, and it was featured in a lot of airtime squadrons during the conflict. During World War II, the 358 Fire Group used it in 1994 and spring of 45. And it was a NATO air base in the 50s and 60s during this time. One of the most important sites are its stone ramparts, which still exist today, of the work of Sebastian Lamprestier de Vauban, Louis XIV's military engineer. And several of its fortifications are now UNESCO World Heritage Sites. There's also a lot of Roman archaeology here too. There's also lots of Roman archaeology in the town that are around this area, including they found a great amphitheater around here 30 kilometers away, which was a cult to the Apollo during that time. Let's see, let's check fuel again. Okay, 55%. I think we have enough for the journey. Yeah, we have about less than 100 miles, guys. You might get there pretty quickly, for all we know. But then let's talk about our second last checkpoint before we get to Strasbourg. And that is the city of Nancy in France. It was the capital of the Duchy of Lorraine, which was annexed by King Louis XV in 1766, which became the capital of its province. Following its rise to prominence in the Age of Enlightenment, it was the capital of Eastern France in the late 19th century. It is currently the 16th largest functional area in France and the largest in Lorraine, which is a cultural and historical region in northeast France, with a population of 511,257 inhabitants. The motto of the city is Non Inultes Primor, which is Latin for I am not injured, unavenged, which is a reference to the thistle, a symbol of Lorraine. Also famous for the place Stanislas, which was a large square built between 1752 and 1756 by architect Emmanuel Ayer, under the direction of Stanislaus I of Poland. It is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It also featured many historic monuments in one of the centers of Art Nouveau in this area. It's also a large university city too. Now, the earliest people who settled here were about 800 BC. Nancy was actually burned around 1218 in the War of Secession of Champagne. But the modern city of Nancy was built during the 18th century. During this time, now in 1871, Nancy actually remained French despite Germany annexing Alsace-Lorraine. Nancy was occupied by German forces in 1940 and renamed Nanzig, but thankfully was liberated by the U.S. Army in 1944. But yeah, this place is well known for its famous historical sites that date back from the Middle Age to 18th century, including the Cathedral of Nancy, and of course, the place Stanislas is a major site. It's also very rich in culture thanks to all the museums and heritage. And there are some very famous people born in this area too. So that is Nancy. We're going to be visiting here in just a sec. And of course, one of the most famous monument is the Plans Stanislas, which was built between 1752 and 1756. It's one of the oldest examples of an architecturally consistent public square in the world, and an excellent example for 18th century urban architecture. Since 1983, the ensemble comprising the Plans Stanislas has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Basically, the public square is around 125 meters long and 106 meters wide, paved with light stones. And there's a lot of simple buildings, including the City Hall, the Opera House, the Fine Arts Museum, and defensive purposes. There's also the Arc Care, a triumphal arch that was built here as well. And it's used, and basically the city's used it currently as pedestrian use. So we're going to be, and thankfully this is a PY landmark in the sim, so we can definitely be paying that a visit today. We're definitely going to pay that a visit, so we're going to go back to the inside. But man, this area is just, this area is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible scenery here. My goodness, this is an absolutely beautiful area here in France. There's a train station. We're going to take Plans Stanislas is going to be right here. We'll be taking I'll take a pit stop here and take a picture. There's Plans Stanislas. There it is, Plans Stanislas. Oh, it is Makazi. Yeah, there it is, guys. Absolutely incredible. So that's Plans Stanislas. There you go. So yeah, there's Plans Stanislas, UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's Place Stanislaus here in Nancy. Here's the rest of the city. Like I said, France has got so many of these little historical cities to visit. Pretty incredible. Hey, jumping out of here, have a nice flight. Thank you so much for joining along and flying along with me, Makazi. You're always welcome to come fly with me anytime. Thank you so much, Makazi. You were absolutely incredible out there. So yeah, we're gonna hopefully we can find a way to blitz through the rest of this. Bring flaps on. Acrobatics. So yeah, we're doing really, really well here. We're only 80 nautical miles out from our destination here. So we don't have much farther to go. So yeah, that would be one way to conclude leg one. Let's see how much fuel we got. 46% fuel. Air fuel tanks. We barely have enough fuel here, and we about halfway fuel on our right tank. So yeah, we're basically near the region. We're going to be visiting Luneville next. So I don't have any, unfortunately didn't have any slides for this, but Luneville was actually known as a resort in the 18th century when it was known as the capital of Lorraine. There is the Chateau de Luneville that was actually built in 1702 for Leopold, Duke of Lorraine, to replace an older palace. Palace was designed in support of the Sale of Versailles to appease Leopold's wife, known as the Versailles of Orient. During World War I, it was at the nearby Pierre Forest, was the first aerial victory by fire aircraft armed with machine guns on July 1st, 1915. When Kurt Morgans forced down in a Parasol monoplane piloted by the French. A couple of trees were signed in this area. In particular, this tree was signed. The Treaty of Frankfurt in 1871 made it part of a border town. It also produced its own industry, mainly with faience, which is glazed pottery was produced in Luneville, a glass factory, and more produced here. So there's definitely, we're going to be visiting there next. I think we might see it in the sim. Chateau Luneville might be in the sim. Definitely want to check that out. If it's in the sim, I'll definitely take a pic. I believe that might be in the sim. There's Big and Enter in the 83-3900. No, unfortunately, it's not in the sim. The chateau is not represented. Nope. This way? Now, historically, this region used to be French, but a lot of people didn't know. But Alsace-Lorraine used to actually be part of Germany at one point in its history, after the Franco-Prussian War, when Germany annexed Alsace-Lorraine, and that caused a lot of things in World War I. Definitely very beautiful as well. I hope you guys are planning something big for the rest of the week. I know I won't be seeing you guys until Sunday, so I know that Murph's gonna have his news thing, and he'll also cover quite a few things, mainly the Corfu scenery. He'll be covering that on his stream, so hopefully if we get there early enough, we might be able to rate his channel. So we have 61 nautical miles remaining on this journey. I guess, you know, I'm going to increase the amount of fuel. Oh. Woo! Yeah, I forget how aerobatic this plane can really be. Yeah, this plane is a bunch of fun to fly. It's like, it's not... It's fast enough you can do a lot of your aerobatics maneuvers, but still slow enough you can still enjoy the scenery and everything, and it's really stable. Oh, we're 42 minutes away. Yep. And we got around 58 nautical miles remaining. Hey, we're making pretty quick time. Doing some low-level passes and low-level fly-ins. This. Six is around here. Yeah, it's beautiful out here, guys. So thank you guys so much for coming along in today's trip. We'll be going to the next leg from Strasbourg to Munich, which will be around 300 nautical miles. So we'll be taking something a bit faster. Maybe I'll take something German. Maybe. Ooh. Something more Deutsch. Deutsch as in Deutschland. Sorry, I just had to stretch a little bit. So Strasbourg is where we're going to be visiting soon. It has photogrammetry thanks to the recent France World update, I believe. $53 nautical miles away. Find a lot of the French scenery. If you guys like what you're doing, and if you guys like what you see, I do have a Discord. So definitely go check out my Discord. So I guess I gotta get things worked on for Phoenix as well. Hopefully I get to show off a new ultralight. I know there's the Ants Drifters ultralight, and I think that's gonna be my next purchase. Like I want something as fast as I want something that's easy to use like the Top Runner, but I want something faster, but I also want something with GPS and something to definitely not have the camera glitch that the you know, the arrow lights, but I may have to test it out again to make sure that's not a problem. So now we're visiting Strasbourg, is where we're flying over now. So Strasbourg is a community in northeastern France. It was founded in 1464. It's located in the department of Moselle-Lorraine. Now, the most famous thing was they actually discovered a Mithridatic temple in 1895 at the mouth of the pass. And basically what a Mithrium is, a Mithridatic temple for the cult of Mithras, dated between 100 BC and 300 AD. There's Strasbourg. We're going to be flying over there. Right next to it is the Borchel Arby Airport. There's the train station. Yeah, we do not have much farther to go. We have 43 nautical miles remaining. Let's do this, guys. Yeah, we're nearly got an early done. Originally, Firefly Air, the original route used to be 209 nautical miles, but I decided to go ahead and do the long way, from here. Next leg was supposed to be 166 nautical miles. That was what it was supposed to be originally, was 166 nautical miles from here to Munich. I'm taking the long way around to the Orient Express. Usually these routes are pretty short, but I wanted to do these the long way since I think it would be great to because that's how the train routes used to go. They don't just go straight. They had to get around the train and such back then. So yeah, I hope you guys have any big major plans for the week, for the rest of the week and the weekend. The next time you'll be seeing me is I'll be going to a Louisville Bats baseball game on Friday, so I'll have to be that for the fun weekend, and then just work on the next stream. So that Barty Loop jelly I mentioned, so that jelly was actually composed of whole seed currants, mainly the white or red currants. In fact, this jelly goes all the way back to 1344, and it's usually accompanied to game animals along with brown bread, or be part with foie gras, which is made of duck or goose liver. Apparently this jelly is a culinary luxury along with beluga caviar, as known as bar caviar. And apparently for a jar of these cost 18 euros for one, or $40 in the US. It is enjoyed by notable people like Alfred Hitchcock, Ernest Hemingway, Victor Hugo, and Mary Queen of Scots. Apparently going the wrong way. We get to one of the more beautiful natural areas of this. Ooh, I like this. Let's go down to the hills. Look at that. That's now we're gonna I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Strasbourg for a bit, because we're gonna be approaching the city in about 30 nautical miles from the city. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the city of Strasbourg already. Now, of course, I could talk about more during the city tour series, but Strasbourg is the prefecture and largest city in the Grand Est region of eastern France, and believe it or not, it's actually the official seat of the European Parliament of the EU, one of the two legislative bodies in the Union. It is located at the border with Germany with the historic region of Alsace. With 287,000 inhabitants, the metropolitan area has a population of 846,000 people in 2018, making it the 8th largest metro area in France, and home to 14% of the population in the Grand Est region. Strasbourg is one of the 4 de facto main capitals of the European Union, along with Brussels, Luxembourg, and Frankfurt, as it is the seat of several major European institutions, including the European Parliament, the Eurocorps, and the European Ombudsman. Also, in addition to this as well, there's other organizations that make their home here, including the Central Commission for Navigation of the Rhine and the International Institute for Human Rights is actually here in Strasbourg. It's also home to one of the more famous historic cities, the Grand Ile, or Grand Island, which is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Economically, Strasbourg has been an important center of manufacturing and engineering, as well as being a road, rail, and river transportation. Its port is the second largest in the entire Rhine after Duisburg in Germany, and the second largest river port in all of France after Paris. Strasbourg has had a very long history as well. Strasbourg has been around since 12 BC, when it was part of the Roman camp of Argentorianum. The city of Strasbourg grew when it celebrated its 2000th anniversary in 1988. Between 362 and 1262, it was governed by the bishops of Strasbourg, and it became a free imperial city in 1262. It became a French city in 1681. And then in 1871, it became German again, until 1918 when it reverted back to the French. It stayed that way for the rest of the 20th century. Strasbourg has played a major role in the Protestant Reformation, with personalities like John Calvin, Martin Bucer, Wolfgang Capito, Matthew and Catherine Zell have all played roles in the Protestant Reformation. Also, in addition, it was one of the first centers of the print industry, thanks to people like Johannes Gutenberg, Johannes Metellin, and Heinrich Eggestein. But this city's also got some dark periods, including the Strasbourg Massacre, the Dancing Plague in 1518, the 1793 Reign of Terror, and the Siege of Strasbourg in 1870. And of course, the Nazi occupation was brutal. So definitely there's that. Now, Strasbourg is also world famous for its architecture as well. So Strasbourg is world famous for its architecture, mainly its astronomical clock, which is located in the Cathedral of Strasbourg. There's also Petite France, La Petite France, which is the historic quarter of Strasbourg. And of course, who could forget its cathedral? The Strasbourg Cathedral is truly a marvel. There's also lots of different Art Nouveau buildings, medieval bridges, and more. Lots of parks and museums, and more. And of course, Strasbourg is also a massive rail hub, thanks to its train station, the Paris-Strasbourg. So definitely a very important area as well. We'll be visiting more of the city soon. What? What would mean going the wrong direction? Like I said, it's not easy doing this and doing flying, you know. So that's a bit about Strasbourg. We'll be visiting more. Man, what a crazy flight today. I know we had that big issue earlier with the green thing going out, but I mean, we did really well despite that. Man, like the game didn't crash. That would have been significantly worse. In addition to this, Strasbourg is also twinned with the city of Boston in the United States, Leicester in the United Kingdom, and Stuttgart in Germany. And there's some very famous people born here, including Johannes Thaler was born here, a German mystic from the time period. And this place has also some very famous residents, like Johannes Gutenberg is probably the most famous resident. But there's so many very famous other engineers and people living here too. And in terms of pop culture, Strasbourg has appeared in quite a few areas, particularly including being some scenes in Sherlock Holmes' Game of Shadows. In terms of music, Mozart did his third violin concerto was performed here in Strasbourg. So let's talk about the main sites we're going to be seeing here. There's two particular ones. There's the Strasbourgville station, located is the main railway station here in Strasbourg. This area, it was actually opened in 1841, though it rebuilt in 1883. It's the eastern terminus of the Paris-Strasbourg Railway. With over 20 million passengers in 2018, it is one of the busiest railway stations in all of France. Second only to Lyon Part-Dieu outside of Paris. So the building itself the current railway was built in 1878 and 1883 by German architect Johann Edward Jacob Stahl. And he did a lot of the works around here. And they do quite a few railroad stations, mainly from Strasbourg to Paris, Riens, there's Nantes, Bordeaux, Lyon, Marseille, Montpellier railways, but also throughout Germany, like to Frankfurt, Munich. In fact, this is where we're going to follow for much on tomorrow's, next Wednesday's journey to Munich from Stuttgart. They do quite a few railway stations from there. Then we get to probably the most famous landmark in the entire city. The iconic Strasbourg Cathedral. It's called Cathedral of Our Lady Strasbourg. It is considered by many to be among the finest examples of Renaissance Gothic architecture. Architect Erwin von Stauberg was credited for many of his major contributions from 1277 to 1318. This was actually, it ground broke in 1015, and get this, it wasn't completed until 1439. 400 years. This thing was constructed for 400 years. I mean, 400 years for a cathedral is actually crazy. But it's true. But this is not the only thing that makes this thing really impressive. This building was it's actually 466 feet tall. And believe it or not, for 227 years, from 1647 to 1874, it is the world's tallest building for 227 years. When it was surpassed by St. Nikolai's Church in Hamburg. Today it is the 6th tallest church in the world, and it's the highest still standing structure built entirely in the Middle Ages. It was described by Victor Hugo as a gigantic and delicate marvel. The cathedral is visible far across the plains of Alsace. It can be seen as far as the Black Forest on the other side of the Rhine. In 1988, it was inscribed in the UNESCO World Heritage List, along with the rest of the city. I mean, it is an absolutely beautiful church. You guys should definitely see it. I know you're going to re-Murph, but Dryson is celebrating 100. Oh, definitely. I'll definitely re-Murph. But if I don't find Murph on, I'm going to raid Dryson's channel. So let's fly around Strasbourg for a bit. We're finally here in the city, so let's go ahead and fly around this area for a bit. This area is going to be this area has photogrammetry, mind you, so let's take a look at the city for a little bit, shall we? Absolutely rich in its history. It's an absolute stunner of a city. And of course, there's one thing that towers over everything else in the city. It's this cathedral. That cathedral. I mean, it's insane that this one cathedral was the tallest building in the world for 227 years. Definitely going to take a picture of the cathedral. Oh, look at this. This cathedral's a stunner. Oh, what an absolute stunner. Oh, look at that. That is just... wow. This is stunner. Let's see if we can find Ile-de-France somewhere. This was the famous historic quarter. But man, this area is just, it's brilliant. I've also got other landmarks here, like the University of Strasbourg down over here. There's also a very famous a botanic university around here too. Yeah, this area is just, it's cool. A lot of the French cities definitely. So we're gonna say goodbye to the palace, to the cathedral. One final time. What a massive cathedral! It's huge. Here's the historic Petite France. Kind of here by the boat. Absolutely. Go past the train station. This ain't incredible. So I would love to fly this over with the aerolites or the drifters. And I think the Ants Drifter Ultra would be incredible around here. Plus, when it's autopilot, it would be so helpful for my streams. So that will be the end of our tour at Strasbourg. Now we can get to our final thing on the slideshow for today, guys. Thank you guys so much. Strasbourg, the airport itself, Lima Foxtrot Sierra Tango, is a minor international airport here in Strasbourg, located in Intheim, 10 miles southwest of Strasbourg. In 2018, it served over nearly 1.3 million passengers. However, it's been declining in traffic because Ryanair suspended service here in 2004. Plus, with the high-speed rail, there was also less plane usage, but since 2011, the traffic has grown. However, Air France no longer does the route between Paris and Strasbourg because they can transfer via train. But this airport actually has some interesting destinations, including flying into the Middle East and North Africa, along with a few regional destinations. So there is Strasbourg Airport. So we're going to land on runway 23, and I think that would be it for the first leg. And that's pretty amazing, guys. We got leg one of the journey completed. Now I hope I don't fumble up that landing. Thankfully, unlike other stunt planes, this thing does come with flaps. Yeah, but I do love flying this thing. This thing is so maneuverable. I love flying. It's so maneuverable. Okay. Now this is a two-wheel landing, so this should be interesting. They only have all the runway in the world to do this landing. This is the landing zone. I don't think that was made of full green, but okay. There we go. Negative 6 FP feet per minute according to the Sim Toolkit. Oh, that was a good landing. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing taxi on down and find a good parking spot for it. And call it a stream. Wow, guys, we made it to our the first leg is now completed. Paris to Strasbourg, we completed the leg. Our journey today actually went 300 nautical miles. So our flight did 300 nautical miles. That was pretty nice. Here's the flight report, if you guys are so curious. Here's what the flight looked like. So if you guys want to actually catch up to the flight. We took off here from Orient Airport and just flew across the city, see Versailles, circled back a few times, did a few loops and rolls, flew around the city of Strasbourg, and then make our final stop here. So yeah, we ended our flight really well. Now I just need to find good parking spots. Ah, there's our parking. Go. Now turn off our lights. Strobe lights off. Horizon. Directional off. Nav lights off. Avionics master off. Off. Make sure it's cut back. Turn off the alternator, and master battery is off. Everything's now off, and that is it. We complete leg number 1 of our journey today, guys. That's it, everyone. Welcome to Strasbourg. Welcome to France. Welcome to Strasbourg, France, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming along on today's trip. So, guys, got some pretty big things coming for the next week or so. So on Sunday, we have a journey all the way to Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to be traveling through the entirety of the Phoenix metropolitan area. This one would be quite nice as well. We'll be visiting through all of downtown Phoenix. We'll be visiting from Phoenix Goodyear Airport, and we're going to make our end of our journey here at Falcon Field. We'll be turning around the historic GA Airport, done by the iconic and legendary Jefferson 2001. Like the Program has just followed the channel. Thank you so much, Like the Program. I want to thank the raid from Nomad Aviator. I want to thank every single new follower. You all have been really awesome today. So thank you guys so much. And then finally, for next Wednesday's trip, we are going from Strasbourg to Munich. From Strasbourg to Munich. We'll also be visiting, let me show you the map for next Wednesday's flight plan from here to Munich. Let me show you guys very quickly before we leave. So next Wednesday's flight plan is going to be this. Originally it was supposed to be 166 nautical miles, but instead it's turned over 300 nautical miles as we visit quite a few unique places. Flying back over Strasbourg once again, where we visit lots of other places like Karlsruhe, Mannheim, Heidelberg, Stuttgart, Augsburg, and Munich. Ulm, Augsburg, and Munich. So we're going to visit all these really cool places on Sunday. So we'll be crossing the border into Germany. So that's it, guys. So I think we are going to raid Murph, but I think it's a little early. I think it'd be a little early to raid. Actually, wait, Murph is on. So guys, let's go raid Two-Toe Murphy. I think he's on, so let's go raid Two-Toe Murphy, guys. Thank you guys so much for today's stream. I really appreciate everyone so much. You guys have all been legends. So guys, let's go ahead and get everyone involved to Two-Toe Murphy stream. Thank you guys so much. I hope to see you guys Sunday as we tour around the city of Phoenix, Arizona. See you later, guys. Firefly 95 will be signing off.